going to call to order the Board of Education regular meeting at 6:01 p.m. Pledge of Allegiance.
Just gonna go around. Mayor Carbone is not here.
Here, I'm Ken.
Nice to meet you, Ken. Mr. Candelita.
You've got me already. Jeez.
I was just with you last
Blonsky.
night. No. I just forget. Yep, Ms. Reitman, Capabianca.
You need to turn my name back.
Yeah, please. I'm here, Jim, Rojas, Bill, our friend. Mr. Becerra is not here, and Ms. LaChance is not here.
Thank you. School community session, public participation. The board invites members of the community to speak on topics to be addressed on the agenda or any other topics of interest. Individuals wishing to make comments are requested to fill out the speaker sign-up sheet, including name and address, which must be stated in the beginning of your comment. The board will not allow comments regarding specific staff members or personal grievances. Courtesy is expected in this limited public forum. The participating time will be limited to 3 minutes per person and 10 minutes overall to guarantee efficient operation of the meeting. Mr. Battle.
Good evening. William Battle, 69 Red Mountain Avenue, Parent. I'll be brief. I just want to talk about two things. I hope all of us right now are aware of the congressional dictate upon the Department of Education that the federal government will no longer be able to either incentivize the states or process what they think the standard should be. It is now in the hands of the states, and hopefully the municipalities will take advantage of that new position that we find ourselves in. It's about time it happened. The other thing is on its way out. They will go out with a whimper rather than a bang because they don't want a lot of fuss about it, but it's done, and hopefully we can begin the new year by engaging ourselves in what is new. Congratulations to everybody who's new here. The other thing that I'd like to bring to your attention is I understand from people that I know in Hartford that University of Hartford in their art history course has adjunct professors of Latin that we might be able to approach to get a teacher of Latin for our students. Once again, the Latin program is one of the ways we can brand our school as being a school of excellence, and I don't think that we should lose the very, very important amount of things that Ms. Lubonsky and others have decided that they want to do. So simply because we don't have one, I think we should go be very proactive in getting Latin teachers sometime this year. Thank you.
Mr. Disco.
John Kisco, 206 Red Mountain Avenue. I like this seat much better, and I do love you all dearly and have a desperate lack from your company, but I had to come tonight, not to express that, but to clear up some business that's left hanging from my time on the board. Something I was involved in, funding the options program in this case, went really wrong, and I just want to present a chronology for your education, for lack of a better word. 2014-15 school year, CAFTA ran a successful program with 8 students, one of whom was the valedictorian of the class of 2015. Based on that, we're funding the program for the next year, and last March, CAFTA students and parents attended the hearing at Vogel Wetmore. Some spoke. One left a letter expressing her feelings that she was learning a great deal. In that meeting, CAFTA was kept in the superintendent's budget at the time. On June 18th, many of you will remember that notorious night, that last night of the budget when we sat here taking vote after vote after vote. The final result of all that was to cut some programs and to put some others in, restore some others that had been looked at for cuts. One of the programs that was restored was CAFTA. CAFTA was alive at that point. On July 10th, after CAFTA's made requests for a meeting to discuss student registrations and other details for the 2015-16 school year, Superintendent's administrative assistant informed CAFTA that there were no funds in the budget for CAFTA. Interesting, because less than a month before, the board had voted for that. August 17th, after being unable to make any headway with Midget Avenue, CAFTA asked me to help, and I sent Interim Superintendent Reitman an email requesting that she call CAFTA. On August 27th, after a series of messages between CAFTA and the school system regarding the number of students enrolled in the program and the possibility of adding more at that time, I sent another message to the superintendent reminding her that the money had been cut from some programs, but not from CAFTA. I included copies of previous emails saying that. The program was offered, but without the opportunity to register students in the normal process, only 3 students were enrolled. The program went well and even survived a move from the building at Water Street when it was found that those classrooms had previously undisclosed hazardous materials to new classroom space at Center Congregational Church, which is working quite well for CAFTA. And those classrooms are available to CAFTA for the second semester until CAFTA closes on its own facility. On December 22nd, CAFTA was informed that the program was not offered as a course selection for the second semester. Once again, the board had funded the program for the year, had done nothing, school system had done nothing to promote it, and therefore wasn't being offered because no students had signed up, because none had been told about it, etc. As of today, the board packet shows one of the programs we defunded in June has been given $30,000, pennies short of $30,000. But CAFTA, funded, has been supposedly paid only $150,000, and even that hasn't been paid. Who knows what's going on? At this point, the second semester starts next week. The program, which was funded by the board, which has operated successfully for over a year, is scheduled not to be renewed despite the board's expressed wishes and despite the availability of the program and the quality of the program, which you'll be hearing about later. I'm not going to read the rest of these because they're just supporting material, and I have given Mrs. Capabianca all of these, copies of all of these for your information. Thank you.
Leslie?
Hi everyone, my name is Leslie Tapia Bernal, and I'm a high school student. I'm a senior this year, and I just wanted to, to make a point that I was in the CAFTA program, and I was wondering why. I mean, I heard that there was funds for it, and I'm not sure why there isn't funds for the second semester. I mean, I transferred from Oliver Wolcott to come to this school because I heard that they had a good art program. And I am enrolled in some art classes here, and I found out through my guidance counselor that there's art and film program, which is the options program with CAFTA. And I tried the CAFTA program this semester, and I enjoyed it, and it helped me a lot for my art portfolio. Because I want to go to an art school in Savannah, Georgia, and that really helped me a lot. And I'm in a huge project right now, making a short film, and I don't want the CAFTA program to end. I need it for the second semester, and I know many students would benefit of this program. I mean, I know I have many friends that would enjoy to be in this program. The problem is that they don't know about it. And I know that the options program can be given during 7th period, which is the last class in the day. And I know some kids, they have a study hall, but they don't know about this program. And I don't know who else could tell them about the program. I mean, I know my guidance counselor for sure, she didn't know anything about the program. I had to ask a couple people to try to get information about this. I know my art teacher, she knew a little bit about the program and she recommended me. She said, oh, why don't you try the CAFTA program? And I enjoy the program and I've learned a lot. I have some friends in my art class and I asked them if they knew about the program, if they would enjoy to come to it and sign up for it. And they went to a guidance counselor and asked them about the program, and they didn't know anything about the program, and they said the program was discontinued for the 2nd semester. But I was told in the 1st semester that it was going to be for 1st and 2nd semester. And I thought I would sign up for the 2nd semester for sure, because I told it I was interested in art. But apparently she told me, she said, CAFTA has no funds for 2nd semester. And I asked her why, and she said, my guidance counselor said that it's not, well, it wasn't her problem and that she can't do anything about it because the superintendent is her boss and she has to follow her boss's orders. And I think that should change because I thought it had funds. That's what I was told from my guidance counselor. And I think the CAFTA program would benefit many students, especially students who want to pursue in art and film. I have a friend who was a participant in the CAFTA program, and she enjoyed it. I mean, she wasn't here tonight to speak because she's very shy, but she enjoyed doing the short films, and she wished she was there for the 2nd semester, but she didn't have an option for it. I don't know, I hope that would change. Thank you.
Thank you. Brunel?
Hi everybody, my name is Hermel Tapia. I live in 83 Cherry Street. I come and help my daughter, but I love my daughter, and her show me, she tell me the situation what happened after, and she have big rimming, and the rim is so bigger. I can compare what, but sorry about that, my language is not very well because I don't speak Spanish. And I went one time to Savannah, Georgia. All the kids I see in the big, small class, a lot of kids, for example, China or different countries, they have a lot of opportunity, they have a lot of technology. And design is anything you want, that the future they make a bridge, they building, anything you want, the career right there. That's the, she said, I try to go to university there, but the other thing is that she need the rim and big can help a lot of kids here too. There's one kid make a lot of difference in the future. I hope so I go old, but she's right there in the future, right here. This change made a whole lot of states, a lot of kids, a whole United States too. I support her. They start 6 years. Day, week and week, year to day, we support me and my wife. That's can stop it. We need to continue about that. I wish the state help for the program, the CAFTA, and she lower the rim, or if she's help other kids. That's the future. We need to procreate something very good ideas. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I'm sorry about that. Sometimes not specific. Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much. Approval of agenda.
I'd like to make a motion that we amend the agenda. Removal of 5, section 5, number 2, or C2, AP European History.
Removal of number 6, executive session, administrator's contract. Removal of 8E, administrator's contract. The removal of H2A, 2 and 2A.
Any discussion?
Why are we removing this?
The administrator's contract is being renewed because it hasn't yet been ratified by the union, so we can't discuss it yet, so it'll be moved to the February. Any other discussion on these items?
Just a quick question, I think the European history is being removed, is it still going to be considered or not considered?
There is an AP European course in the course catalog, it's a full year. It really, this was not really AP European history when we went back and looked at it and talked about it. It is in fact a new course, and so it has to go through the approval process, and this simply isn't time to do that. So that, it would be, I'm trying to remember the name of it, was a Western Traditions. It would be a UConn ECE course, but it's new to the district, so we would have to go through the approval process, and we're late for that.
I was gonna ask why this was even being considered, since there was one 10 years ago.
There still is, but there still is.
I'd like to know if we can add for discussion what we've heard from our audience tonight on this subject matter, why these things didn't take place, what we need to do to get this thing up and running if we budgeted for it.
Jeff, do you want to amend your motion to add?
Yes. Yes, I amend my motion to include a discussion item related to the capital/budget question.
I would second that.
So,
We'll make that 5E. Any other discussion?
Good question. There was a Spanish 4 course in this December meeting that was pushed to the January meeting for approval for course curriculum. Did that go away? Is that why it's not on here?
Yes.
Or?
Yes,
Okay.
it was again, when we looked at it, when Mr. Bateman and I looked at it, it was incomplete. It did not appear to be supported by other courses that were in the Spanish curriculum, and so we pulled it.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, anything else? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous? Amazing.
That's it for tonight.
Good start. Let's keep that going. Information sharing session, superintendent's report.
Well, I'm very pleased that we have with us tonight, we have folks who were recognized for their academic excellence and their extracurricular excellence by CAPS, which is the Connecticut Association of School Superintendents. And we've got them here with their parents, and I'd like to bring them up and congratulate them. And if you would, once you come up, if you'd stay, because we have some of our reporters who'd like to get pictures. Okay, so if you would do that. Our first, from Torrington High School, this is an award that's given to one student from each school in a district. So it's just one. It's a very prestigious award. They are recognized by attendance at a dinner that Mr. Campolita attended, because I was, I believe, here the night that we had that. So again, I want to offer my congratulations and thank you so much for representing Torrington Public Schools in such a spectacular fashion. I'm going to read this because these were put together by your principals, and I want to make sure that I get all of the information exactly right. The first person is Ella Frauenhofer, who is the valedictorian for Torrington's class of 2016. So painting a picture of Ella is nearly impossible because words alone do not do her justice. While securing extraordinary grades throughout her challenging courses, this prospective college student works 2 part-time jobs, volunteers, takes piano lessons, and is a black belt in karate. Ella is involved in theater, the science club, and the Interact Club, which is dedicated to community service. Endearingly quirky and creatively intelligent, which I can attest to. Ella has captivated everyone who has crossed her path. Congratulations, Ella. Congratulations. Okay, from Torrington Middle School, we have Mariah Doyle. Mariah is a motivated 8th grade student who is active at Torrington Middle School and in the community. She is a member of the band, the volleyball team, and the National Junior Honor Society. She also volunteers for Special Olympics at Oliver Wolcott, serving Thanksgiving dinner for the less fortunate and on a local farm, and has participated in mission trips through her church. Mariah can always be found displaying good character and is an excellent role model for her peers. Congratulations, Mariah. Okay, from East Elementary School, we have Douglas Peterson. Douglas is a 5th grade student at East School. He's a quiet leader in the classroom and a role model to others, always following school rules and consistently going above and beyond what is expected. As a part of the Talented and Gifted program, Douglas is a stellar student who always achieves at a high level. In addition, he is a member of the school orchestra, chorus, and dance team. Outside of school, Douglas is an active member of the Boy Scouts. From Forbes Elementary School, we have Tessa Hanichek, a 5th grade student at Forbes School, is an outstanding young lady and exemplary peer model. She always rises above and beyond in all educational areas, setting high goals for herself and doing her best to achieve them. She is a member of the Talented and Gifted program, student council, and plays saxophone in the band. She is an avid reader, devouring books in all genres. Tessa undoubtedly deserves to be recognized for her exceptionally hard work. Also with us tonight from Torringford Elementary School is Zachary Morelli. He's a young man of strong character. He's incredibly kind and helpful. While quiet by nature, Zachary is always willing to offer a helping hand to a peer in need. He offers his time as a mentor to a younger student, serving as a positive role model. Zachary maintains a high academic record, earning him a recommendation for the Talented and Gifted program. Outside of school, he belongs to a youth soccer team, taking on leadership roles such as the team's goalie. Congratulations. I want to mention also we have 2 young people who couldn't be here. They were ill tonight, but from Vogel Wetmore we have Alan Smith, who's a very motivated 5th grade student ready for any challenge, positive role model for his peers and classmates, and a straight A student. Plays the saxophone in the school band, and his determination to do well extends beyond school. He plays football for the Torrington Warriors and is involved with the PALS Basketball League. And our last award goes to Ethan Highland from Southwest Elementary. He's a well-rounded student who strives to make all those around him proud. He's an ambitious boy, determined and motivated to do his best work. Since the age of 7, Ethan has continuously participated in sports, baseball and basketball in particular. He is always found displaying good character and is consistently kind to and considerate of others. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, well done.
Okay, I also wanted to share with the board that we had a couple of concerns brought to our attention by the School Governance Council, which we are looking into. One was an issue of cleanliness at the site, which we have been working with Mr. Bain and the custodial staff to make sure that we're taking care of that at the site. And the other was the success rate of some of our students in combined classes, and we are still gathering data so that we can address that more fully. So I will have more information on that for our next school improvement committee meeting.
What do you mean by combined classes? Different levels of the
G
same
and
class?
CP were combined for 9th grade this year, and so we are looking into some concerns. But we'll have information, more thorough, more vetted information for you at the school improvement.
What is G and CP?
G is general, CP is college prep.
Thank you.
last thing that I have is the budget process timeline, which is in your packet. We went over this at the budget committee meeting, and the next date that's coming up is we are in the process, the budgets will be due to the business office by the 22nd, this Friday. After that, we have scheduled site budget meetings so that we can come in and meet with all of the building leaders to discuss and justify the budget. And we are planning to bring our preliminary proposal to the budget subcommittee on February 10th. So that's our next date that's coming up.
Can you get that schedule posted online?
Sure.
So everyone, the
Yep.
public knows when the meetings are?
Question. On January 26th, are you talking about board members being present, or are you?
No, this is, the things that start on the 26th that run through the 5th of February are strictly the site leaders meeting with central office staff, the business office, me, assistant superintendent, to justify their budget. And then once they've done that, we'll put together our preliminary proposals, eliminate what we feel is inappropriate, add what we think needs to be added, and bring that in front of the budget committee on February 10th for discussion, so that at that point, we can answer the questions from the board.
Would it help to have budget committee members there to hear the rationale from the staff?
I'm not really sure that it would at this point. I mean, it's going to be a fairly messy, long, and they are going to give you those rationales in the budget.
Okay.
So you're going to get that information, but it will be more vetted, it will be, you won't be getting things that are not going to end up in the budget. I think it's going to be a very long night.
As long as we can ask
And we're going to have
questions.
plenty of long, absolutely questions, but it would be based on what actually is brought forward at that point. And there are going to be many long nights and many opportunities for the board to meet with all of our folks, and in public presentations as well.
Ken?
I would just like to express the concern that this mirrors an incredibly compressed schedule that we had to keep last year. We have only one meeting after receiving the budget to discuss it and have it to the city. I think that we used to traditionally get the budget the last week of February and had 2 full board meetings to discuss it in March, kept the first week of April always as a holdover, which always had to be used because we were never done. And right now, we receive it according to this schedule on the 16th. We don't discuss it until April 6th, and we have to approve it that day. Because we just have the 3 public hearings in there, which does not lead to a lot of time. Not saying that we get long-winded, but at budget, we get really long-winded, and those meetings are gonna take some time. I just don't think that's a viable schedule.
But we can add more. I mean, we know we have to have it to the city by the 15th.
I think
So we
you
can
need to
add
do it up.
more meetings.
You have to get it to us before March. Just from past history, last year by the 16th, I'd hand-delivered the 4th copy of the budget to the full board.
We're hoping we don't go there this year.
But they did have a form of it starting the last week of February and working on it. That this takes 2 weeks away from us having time to digest
We will
it.
have a form of it on February 10th.
To the subcommittee. And then you're gonna have subcommittee discussions, and it doesn't get presented to the full board according to this till the 16th. So that means the board really doesn't receive your budget until 29 days before we have to give it to the city.
I
And that
believe-
doesn't leave us a lot of
I
time.
believe the 17th is the date we were planning to give it to the full board. That's a week after the subcommittee meeting. It doesn't specifically say, of course, it's preliminary budget discussion.
Well, on the 16th, it says superintendent's budget presented to the board. I took that as
I'm
you
sorry,
giving it to
the
us.
17th is the first time you see the full budget,
February 17th?
February 17th.
So that's not a budget committee meeting, that's a full board meeting on the 17th?
Right, the 10th is a budget committee meeting.
Right.
The 17th is a full budget meeting,
Full board.
full board, sorry.
So the budget committee's only gonna get one meeting to receive it, digest it, discuss it, and then have it ready for the full board on the 17th.
Well, given the time that we've had, it is a very compressed timeline. Absolutely, no argument there. I mean, we can add some dates in there if we need to.
Just going by past years, it was to the board by the 1st of March as a full board, and the budget committee, subcommittee meetings were concluded by that time. Because If you're giving it to us on the 17th, you have a March 9th subcommittee meeting. Once it's given to the full board, it no longer belongs to the subcommittee, it belongs to the full board. So you can't have any more subcommittee meetings to discuss it once you've given it to the board.
Okay,
So-
we can adjust it.
You need to get all your subcommittee meetings done first, and then the full board takes it. It's like I said, once you give it to the full board, it's no longer a subcommittee budget.
Okay, we can adjust the
I would
time.
agree, we need to adjust it if we can, because the more time we have, the better job we can do.
Okay.
Andrew?
I'd like to go back to the January 26th concept of reviewing the site budgets. I think that I'm not exactly the most diligent of all these board members. These board members are a lot more energetic than I am most of the time. But the type of information that is being given to you by each site, I think you're going to process that and make it into your superintendent's budget. But I would personally like to see what each site actually, in their dream of dreams budget, are actually talking about. And this would give board members more understanding of what they would like to see to make their site more beneficial. And then we as a board would have more knowledge of what they're actually trying to accomplish in their budget.
We can-
How that would take place, I don't know.
Well, we have the dates.
Right, but maybe the documentation that these principals are bringing to you can somehow be documented and handed out to the board over a period of time.
Ellen?
Then it's like we're micromanaging. It's the superintendent's budget. So, I mean, yes, it would be nice to see the all-in, but we get shown that, the
Well,
all-in.
No, we don't get shown it
Yes, we
because
do.
she's going to filter that in her vision. And I'm saying there's nothing that's harmful for the board to see what they're actually desirous of.
We get that.
We don't get that.
Yes, we do.
How do we get that?
Can I argue that you have the opportunity to get it with site visits to the schools, talking to the administrators directly, talking to teachers. So if you go out and do the legwork, you can talk to people.
Ken?
Just two things. One, if we can recognize the chair before we speak, because otherwise we end up talking over each other. If you look February 17th to March 9th, it says site budget presentations to the board. So I think what you're asking for will be given then, because I believe in past budgets, what the superintendent's talking about, the 26th through the 5th, is her chance that's her first chance to sit down with a site leader and discuss their needs. If we all go in there, we're gonna talk for hours. We're gonna interrupt them, we're gonna be disruptive, and we're gonna stop her from doing it. They bring that to us on what says here, the 17th to the 9th. So,
No.
I don't wanna get in the way of her being able to put together her budget. That's a meeting that they need to have.
No, I'm not saying that I want to be a participant of it, but I would like to see the rough copy of what they are presenting to you. I assume they're not just coming in without any type of documentation. They're going to come in with some type of booklet or whatever of what they would like to have in their budget. I would like to be able to have that information disseminated to the board members, not in a formal meeting, but just disseminated so that if any board members want to look at that information, we can look at it. And then, even though you will present eventually your budget, we will also have the ability, once we take over the budget, whether or not we want to add some of those ideas that the site principals originally had talked about, or not. It just gives us more information, because we're always dealing at the budget process of wanting to normally eliminate things. But the more information we have, it might be a more beneficial process, because there may be some ideas that you as a superintendent discarded for your professional reasons, but we as board members may go, well, you know, we'd like to add this or we'd like to add that. It's just an idea.
Yeah, present it that way, you know, without us being present, but you have to get a draft. You must be getting some paperwork draft from the site folks. I don't know what the implications are if you disseminate it to the board. Is there stuff in there that it's Freedom of Information Act or whatever, but if there's not an issue on it, that's not a big deal. But how about if we got it electronically rather than paper?
Yeah, just for whatever people need, you know, these board companies.
My only concern is that it be clearly identified what it is,
Draft.
because as we move on, the issue always becomes what draft of the budget was that, and what is that? And if that is not at all the superintendent's recommended budget,
How much extra work would that be to scan?
it's very confusing.
It's not a lot of extra work to get the information scanned. I mean, we're looking at a number of sites. We're looking at 7 schools, the assistant superintendent's budget, student services budget, the district-wide budget, the facilities budget, the technology budget. I mean, so there's quite a few different sites that would be there. And it's going to be a very messy process. I mean, what you're going to see is, you know, we're not asking anybody for a wish list, I will tell you that. Yes, we are, but we're asking people specifically to ask for what they need, to build a realistic budget. I have asked the site managers not to come with the kitchen sink. I want a thoughtfully prepared, carefully prepared budget that accurately reflects what they believe their needs are. Because I feel that if we come to you with a budget that we could easily cut 5%, why would you believe that our numbers were right, we're accurate, we're true, we're realistic? I'm not going to go through that. I want to present a budget that we feel accurately reflects the needs of the district and that we can justify. And we're asking every site manager to prepare not only their request for funds, but their justifications in writing with backup, with invoices, with whatever backup they have, so that when we do have information to present, everything is supported and everything reflects what the needs of the district are. So it's not going to be a pie in the sky, but it's going to be messy. I have no problem providing that as long as everyone understands this is the first blush, it's messy, and what they present, I'm hoping they do what I've asked them to do, but it's very likely that I'm going to still get somebody who's going to say, you know what, I'm still going to try for the moon, even though the moon isn't necessarily what we need. So we're trying to weed that out, and we are trying to make a budget that reflects the educational needs of the district. I have no problem providing that information, but again, as Ms. Capabianca has said, it needs to be really clearly understood that this is the first messy draft of what we're doing before we even start talking. What you're going to get on the 22nd is the first shot, just so everybody understands that. So,
And also that if it comes through email or presented to the board, it is a public document. So it's not just us that would be seeing that. Ken?
My personal recommendation would be, as you do the site budget presentations to the board, you have on here the 17th to the 9th, that week, 2 weeks. As you did those site presentations, I would think that would be the appropriate time to show us what was submitted by that site and what you are recommending. Because then we can see what they asked for. Because what will happen is it could be given to us on the 26th. We will show up on February 17th and ask for it again. And it'll be given to us again. And paper copies will be generated and emails will be generated, and some people are going to say they don't have it. And again, 4 years going through it as chair, it's going to happen. If you gave it to us in that presentation, you were doing Torrington High School, and you gave us what the Torrington High School principal submitted and what you're at, we could see what they were asking for, and it would all tie together in a nice neat little package, and you could do it by site, because we're going to do all 17 of them. And as the board members attend, they would get that information. But if you just throw something out on the 22nd and then we don't get back to it for a month and a half, someone's going to, I didn't get that email, and they're going to go scrolling through and just
Jen?
We did receive some of that information last year. I don't know if you remember, but it wasn't presented in a very cohesive format. It was like, it was cuts, those things that people had asked for that were, the superintendent had denied were presented as cuts, and things that were currently existing that she wanted to remove were also presented as cuts, and it was all presented together, so it was confusing. But all to say, some of that information was presented. My understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, though, is that is typically, those things are typically shown to the board. That's the all-in budget that Ellen referenced a minute ago, where you
Right.
see all of those. So wouldn't that be what he's asking for? Isn't that something that,
Should be.
so we should be getting that information?
Joanne?
I was gonna recommend the same thing Ken was, just present what you're recommending that's included in the budget and the things that didn't make the budget cut and your rationale for them. So we could see the entire list, we could see what the priorities are in each school, and what you as a superintendent are recommending to function as a school system.
Bill?
Yeah, listening to Ken's recommendation, I would agree with, excuse me. One of the things that would be helpful to me is to have it be presented as concisely as possible, knowing that there are going to be a lot of numbers. I was afraid my computer was going to crash last year. You send it to me electronically, it's just going to be a bunch of numbers that means absolutely nothing to me. And, so if it could, I think that a set of meetings where the budget can be discussed as concisely as possible, both in numbers and the rationale, that would certainly be helpful to me.
We have a couple experts in the crowd. Would the building administrators like for us to see their rough drafts of the requests? Does that work for you?
I think we see it in any.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to get their, we have some building administrators here, so I'm just kind of wondering. What do you think?
Not to be put on the spot, can I reply?
Absolutely.
Sure. I think that the more information the board has, the better you can make decisions. So as long as, it's vetted in a clear, as Mrs. Richardson said, I think the information was given last year, but not in a very clear manner. So I think if it was presented in a clear manner,
Yeah,
it would be good.
I think that what I'm looking at and what I'm hearing is, again, presenting it in a clear manner. That's not going to happen at the initial site budget. The initial site budget is going to be, I'm coming with all of my information, I'm coming with all of my ideas. We're going to have a long, messy conversation about, I need this, I want that, and I think that we can, by the conclusion of that meeting, my hope would be, for example, that we would leave that meeting where Ms. Creedon and I have a very clear idea of what Forbes asked for, but also what we could agree Forbes absolutely needs. And that would be the information that I think would be helpful for the board to have, and to be involved in those conversations, and certainly have that information to say, this is what we asked for, this is what we agreed on, we'd still like to have this, and here's why. So you would have that information and be involved in that conversation. I really honestly believe that first conversation, that first meeting when we sit down, it's the first time that, for example, Joanne and I would have had a chance to even talk about what's in the budget. For us to even hammer out, well, what do you mean with this? What is this for? And I think those could be very long, difficult conversations. And I love you guys, but with all due respect, there is no way you're going to sit through that conversation and not ask a ton of questions. Andrew, you're wonderful and you're tenacious, and I know you. You're not going to not be able to ask questions because that's who you are, and I appreciate that you're keeping us honest. But I think that would be a very difficult way for us to work together to develop the budget. But certainly want you to have the information on what we presented and what we ultimately decided on, and be able to answer those questions, and certainly would entertain those questions about, well, why did you take this out? I really think that's a great idea. I think we should put that in. Though I'd love to have those conversations, but I think that first one is just going to be really tough, and it would last forever because you guys are very meticulous about your questioning, about what you want to see, and I just think we could have a much more productive discussion in the second round and still provide all that information for you.